All right, let's get started. All right, y'all. We are back. Well, I'm back with some friends, with lots and lots of friends. We all went to the famous Monsters Fest in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania last Saturday. Everybody here is how do I put it? Is part of the different Jonathan Majors fan pages, whether it be IG, whether it be Facebook, or both. A couple just joined upon realizing that they existed when they came to the event. So I'm going to do the intro and then we'll get to what we came to do. All right, so like I said, all of us, there were more of us that went. A couple might be popping in as we continue because obviously there was some scheduling conflicts. We tried to get a day and time that worked for everybody because I forgot that it's football season. And so somebody, we'll name no names, reminded me of that because I was trying to do it Sunday, but he mentioned that we probably wouldn't get as much viewership if we did it on Sunday because it is game season. So a couple of people that were only available on Sunday might be popping in during the duration of time that we're actually doing this. We're going to try to keep it at about an hour because, you know, my streams can go a half a work day and ain't nobody getting paid. So mainly because of the comment section, it usually starts getting crazy. Right now, we don't have a whole lot of viewers yet, but sometimes it picks up and then the comment section will go crazy. And then I'm just sitting here like playing whack-a-mole, trying to answer comments, laughing at jokes in the comments, answering questions. So that's usually what takes up the most time. But if a lot of people just watch this on a replay, we can get out of here in about an hour. Okay. All right. So let me introduce some of us. We have to my left, my right, maybe your left, Tisha. She is from Philly and she's been in the actual Facebook fan group since the beginning, which was probably, the fan group was founded in 2020. Have you been there since then or?
I came in, I think, somewhere between March and maybe May of 2023.
Yeah, same. So I came in March of 2023, primarily because of all the hoopla that was made about that Ebony cover and people just losing their minds over it, not in a good way. And so I joined the fan club just to see what the temperature was in there. I didn't really have any vested interest either way. And then it snowballed into now what's going on. I mean, you guys just visit my channel, you'll see what happens then. But yeah, so I went from a passive observer to a very active participant in ensuring that Jonathan Majors, you know, that we protect him, you know, protect him at all costs is my motto. Trying to figure out. Okay, so then we have Kim. Kim is actually a friend of mine that she's from New York like me, but I met her moving down to Atlanta when I lived in Atlanta because she was a friend of my cousin, and my oldest child at the time was 5 and was having a conniption fit because she missed me and wanted to come back home. So Kim did me a favor and brought her down on a flight with her, you know, and then that's how we met and we became friends. So my daughter just turned 20 on the 3rd. So that's 15 years that we've been friends.
Yeah.
And she actually came with me to this event. I was looking for somebody that lived in the area to come with me, and I forgot that Kim moved to Jersey. So she was only like an hour away. So I was like, well, do you want to come? And she said, yeah. And then she came. So she's a new member of all the fan club stuff, but she's always been a fan, but just didn't realize that I was part of this whole thing. So welcome, Kim.
Hi, Danny.
And we have Courtney. Courtney has been in the trenches probably since about October 2023, I think. just supporting Jonathan from outside of everything. She just, kind of like me. 2021. Okay. She actually lived in the San Francisco Bay Area for a while, and she was able to go to a couple of his smaller film festival type things, and she had met him back then. And so, yeah. All right. And so she came to the Monsters Fest. She'll explain to you why, but that's how I met Courtney. Harry, have you always been in a group, Harry?
No, I came in 2023, I believe.
Okay, so you've been in a group as long as I have, though.
Yeah, roughly about the end of 2023.
Okay, so I met Harry just from him asking me a question in the comments, like the weekend of. He just was asking me if it was still happening, and I was like, yeah. And then he came up from DC, right?
Yeah, I came DC DMV area.
Yeah, he came from over that way. He drove up a couple of hours just to come see Jonathan. And Brit and her husband, I think she's loading. She's having a connection issue. She moved back to the front of the line. So she remind me again, you live in DC too?
Yeah, I live in DC. I'm in the DMV.
Okay, so she also lives in the DC area. So they made the pilgrimage up to Philly as well. And then Brit and her husband, you guys are still in Brooklyn, right? Or thereabout? I don't know. I think you're muted. I know they're from Brooklyn. I don't know if they're still in Brooklyn, but they made a bit of a trek as well. So that's about a 2.5-hour drive from New York, the city area, if that's where they came from. All right, so let's get to business. So we're basically just, as it's titled, the Fireside Chat. So we're just sitting around. We're just basically talking about our experience at the very first event of this kind that Jonathan has participated in. Never that I know of. I mean, I'm guessing you guys would second that. I never seen him do anything like this, and I was actually pleasantly surprised. At first, I was a little nervous because I know the demographic. I'm from the New York metro area. They don't really consider Pennsylvania part of it. It's usually Connecticut, New Jersey, and New York, but Philly is part of the New York metro area, in my opinion. And so I kind of already knew the demographic out that way, and I got a little nervous about it because I was like, oh boy, they got this dude in the middle of nowhere, USA, trying to do this event, and with the current political climate, and there were huge Trump vans in the parking lot. I was like, oh boy. So honestly, that's my first reason for going, because again, I'm hardwired to protect this dude. You know what I mean? And I was like, if I don't do anything else the entire weekend that I'm there, I'm going to, one, make sure that the media does not spin this and try to make it sound like it was a failure if it was not. And two, if I got to body slam a few people, then that's what's going to have to happen. And I legit was ready to rumble.
She really was.
I'm not going to be doing that in here. Not this weekend. Some people just come, they will literally spend their money just to get on somebody's nerve. This is the kind of mindset that you have to deal with in this current political climate and just the way the world is now. Everybody wants to be viral. Everybody wants clickbait, no matter how offensive or how illogical it is. They want something to be able to post on social media, right? So my initial fear was born of that. And I'm glad that none of that materialized. I'm glad that when we got there, everything was copacetic. Everything was straight. He got so much love from the people that came, people that I didn't expect to.
Right.
Who's that talking? I'm sorry, because is that Harry or is that she?
That was me. That was she.
Yeah, people that I didn't even expect. Certain demographics. I'm not even going to, couch words. I did not expect that much love because of, everything that's transpired, over the course of the last 18 months. So, it was a really nice turnout, nice event. He was very happy, which I love to see, very engaged, very into it, because again, knowing him personally, I thought that it would kind of stress him out with that type of in your face constant over the course of 2 days, where it's not as controlled as a press conference or a red carpet. He's used to being in controlled environments, and I just knew this wasn't going to be a controlled environment to the extent that a red carpet would be, or a interview would be, or a movie set would be. So that was another thing that kind of made me nervous, because I was like, good grief, is he going to run every time after, after his thing is done? And he did not. He stayed after, his time slot was done. He stayed behind, and still, even when he wasn't scheduled to be at his table or be at the photo op, he stayed, and I was happy to see that, and if not for him doing that, these people here would not have been able to experience him. You know what I mean? Because according to the schedule, 3 of you would have never even met him had he gone strictly by the schedule that they published on the website. Because according to the schedule, he was only supposed to do the photo op at 1:30 on Sunday, and that's it. And instead, he came early, did more autographs, stayed after, did more autographs. And that's how Harry, she, and Courtney were able to speak to him beyond the photo op. So, it was a really nice day. I'm not going to keep talking because I can go on and on and on. I used to be a teacher, and then I was teaching during the pandemic, so I could get up here and just be the whole time. So before we actually get started with everybody else giving their experience, Zach could not be here because he's actually working. He works for NBC, I think, Sports, and he's covering NASCAR in Tennessee. So I'm going to play his feedback, and then you guys will get, whatever order you guys want to go in. You can, I'm sorry, I'm trying to, because Brit, you're good now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can. I was just making sure because I saw that you dropped off and came back. I just wanted to make sure that you were in again. All right, so I'm going to play Zach's video of what he wanted to say had he been here, and then we'll kind of round robin it, and everybody will get a turn. So I guess let's go in the order of the tile. So we'll do Tisha, then Kim, then she, then Court, that sort of thing. All right, so let me do Zach.
Hey guys, sorry I couldn't make it. I'm on NASCAR duty here in Tennessee. But obviously with the famous Monsters Festival, gosh, had such a great time. It was so special to be there and to see Jonathan again. Of course, I haven't seen him since April of 2021 when we wrapped on Devotion. So a lot's happened since then. And I was really looking forward to not only seeing him, but meeting a lot of you guys, his supporters, not fans, supporters. And many other people who came out with the Kang outfits and just being around that type of energy, something I really needed. But seeing Jonathan, that was amazing. I was looking forward to just hearing him talk about his career, and just seeing him kind of more in a natural setting. Of course, every time I was around him years ago on set, he was just in character all the time. So he was always in a really deep, very straightforward, dialed in type of attitude. And he's wearing clothes that aren't his, and he's just almost a different person. That's what you do as an actor. So I was excited to see him kind of chilled out a bit and just having a good time. And that's really what we did. He talked a lot about his career, obviously Lovecraft and Kang and Creed and things that he has coming up. And he always has such a deep, philosophical way of kind of breaking down each role that he picks and the craft that goes into it. He doesn't just pick roles because it's work. You know, he picks them because it's very almost personal to him. So I was really excited to hear about Merciless. I know after he did the Q&A, was doing autographs, and then he did the fan op. We met with him afterwards, and he gave us a lot of time. It was fun. I got to talk to them for a minute and discuss Merciless a little, and I can tell he's really ready to get into it, and I'm gonna be there opening day. I cannot wait for that. So yep, as I said, it was just a very special time. It meant a great deal to me because these last 5 years of following him, especially this last year and a half, it's been incredibly difficult, and I've kind of felt like I've been alone following him, just following you guys online, kind of talking about it. But to be in person, to meet people about him who share this obsession with him, and they just love following his career. It was great. So really look forward to the next one. Hopefully he's got more things lined up, and we can do it again. Hopefully at the Merciless premiere, the movie premiere. Let's make that happen. Thanks, guys.
All right, so that was nice of Zach. We got Bougie on a Budget, Fiona. Oh, and you know what? It tore me apart because I did not arrive, Fiona, because remember we were talking in DMs, and I told you, what we thought was true. It was true, but like I said, turns out that he ended up spending extra time on either end of his time slot with fans. But according to the schedule, he was only supposed to be there for the 1:30 photo op. And Fiona couldn't make it at that time because she would have had to leave by that time. And I didn't arrive until 1:15 for that very reason. And then I found out from Sheed and Courtney that he was actually there at 11 in the morning. So
right.
Had I known that, and had I known them at the time, I could have let Fiona know. But unfortunately, it didn't happen, and I feel terrible about it. But hopefully, he does something else similar, and we can get I know. I'm sorry. I know. And I did not find that out until after I got there. Because they were like, oh, he was here earlier. And I was like, he was? Because I walked up as he was finishing. He finished the photo op early, apparently. And I walked up as he was coming out of the photo op and going back to the autograph table. So
no, Danny, you came up right when he just started, though, actually on the photo op.
Oh, so he finished quickly then, because when I came up, I saw hold on, I'm sorry, I'm getting all these. See, my ADD. I saw you guys staring at me, and I'm like, why are these dudes staring at me? And then I was like, oh, I recognize, and I literally went on Facebook looking like, are these? And I was like, oh yeah, that's the guy from Facebook. I'm like, why are they staring at me like that? I was about to be like, well, no, but yeah, so right, you're right, because when I came up, you guys were kind of looking at me, and then she came up to me and introduced yourself, and then I want to say maybe 10 minutes later he came out. So yeah, I think it went pretty quickly. That's what it was. That's probably why it felt like it was done by the time I got there. But Alejandro, love you. Thank you so much for you stay. He's always riding for us in the comments section. And thank you for hitting up all the different social media platforms and supporting Jonathan and always having something positive to say. We appreciate you. You're everywhere. I always see you in the comment section. I'm like, oh, that's Alejandro. My daughter's name is Alexandra. Well, it's Alejandra in Spanish. And the meaning of that name is defender of men. So your name is very fitting because you stay defending Jonathan, and I appreciate that. I actually sent a screenshot of one of your comments to a few friends of mine that we have a separate text chat. And I was like, there goes Alejandro. I said, he's sick of it too. Look. So Tisha, you know which one I sent. So that's Alejandro. He says he loves Jonathan Majors. He's the greatest king. He who remains, Victor Timely Immortus, Rama Tut, Scarlet Centurion, and all their variants. So again, thank you. Keep up the good work, Alejandro. Spread the word if you can. Wherever you live, get us some more followers on the official IG. It's moving kind of slow, but we got about an extra 30 to 40 more followers since the event. So that's
Sweet.
a good thing. That's a good thing. So just keep spreading the word and, you know, and letting everybody know what an awesome human Jonathan is. I think somebody else is here. Hold on. Is that Brit again? Brit?
I switched to my MacBook and I'm no more issues. This is perfect. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. That's why I keep saying I was so anti-Mac until I became a tech teacher and realized how bad those desktop compute PCs were. And I was like, oh my Lord, I can never use a desktop PC again. And I've used them my whole life. But when you're trying to teach 30 some odd students on half the computers not working, it's insanity. So I said, yeah, I can't do any more PCs. I have to do a Mac because the viruses, the freezing, it was just too much. Okay, so let's go in order of, okay, let me do this. Let me tell you. Ciao. I'm like all over the place. Okay, so we're going to go in order of who's listed on the screen. So I'm going to try to do this as flawlessly as possible. So as you see, this is us that, you know, showed up to the event. So we're going to talk to Tisha first. Tisha is in the middle there with Jonathan and Zach. Yeah, give us, you know, your experience at the event.
I was so nervous going there because this is going to be the first time that I saw him in person, the first time I met other members of the group. So I really didn't know what to expect, but I was pleasantly surprised. Everyone is so cool. Everyone is just laid back. It was just a really nice vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And Jonathan has that same vibe as well. Like he was just really gracious, really open and friendly. Not what I was expecting. I'm like, okay, he's a celebrity, so I don't know. Like, he might be on something different, but he wasn't. It was just all love, and I'm so glad I came. I'm so glad I met everyone. I dragged my son with me. He did have a good time, so it was just, I'm just glad I went, and I can't wait to see if there's going to be another one.
Yeah. I told you he was cool people, though. But like I said, I didn't know. I didn't know if it would be different in this type of environment, though. But no, he was totally like this was something that he does on a regular basis. So, like I said, it was nice to see. It was really nice to see because I'm an empath, and I mean, I don't know what that means, you know, other than you feel really deeply. And when I am invested in a situation or someone, I feel even more deeply. So I was basically internalizing what I thought he would have been feeling in that environment. You know what I mean? And so that first day, I was like just really overwhelmed for him.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was so much going on.
You know?
It was a lot. That was my first time there, and I'm like, I don't know what to expect. So by the second day, it was like everybody was family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything was cool, and we were just vibing. You know, it was a really good vibe. Everything was really, you know, relaxed and chilled. Like I said, there was no drama. There was nothing. Everybody was just good. Like it was a really nice environment. And you know, go ahead, Tisha.
No, it was. And for me being an introvert, and we talked about that, and I know you get on me a lot, like, listen, I gotta come out of your shell. So that was a little different. I'm like, okay, like you can't disappoint. It's like you said you're gonna go, so just get out there.
Right. And I'm an introvert as well. Like I'm more like what do they call it? What is it? What's the one when you're in between?
Like ambivert.
Yeah. But I'm more introverted than I am outroverted or whatever, however you
Right.
Extroverted.
extroverted.
There you go.
Introverted.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I'm making up words. I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. But this is really the most I can do. That's probably why I have to really geek myself up to be, and I if I have enough preparation time, which I did, I'm good. But I'm still like ready to go home after a certain point, and get under my blankets or whatever, take a nap. That's my go-to for everything. When I get stressed out, I take a nap. Irritated, I go take a nap, or whatever. But so I get it. And that's another reason why I was like, oh boy, I'm a little nervous about this because he's an introvert as well, right?
Right.
So,
right.
I was like,
never know that. It didn't seem like it. Like that side must have been hidden because he was out there.
And that's why I'm thinking he's more like me, where it's a little bit of both, where you can turn it on and off. But when you get home, you crash like that adrenaline rush. And then you got to go hide for days,
Oh, yeah.
You have to go hide a couple of days and just recharge, recharge. Let me see. I thought I had. Okay, so I do, child. Let me tell you, I jerry-rigged this thing at the last minute. I'm sorry. But, okay, so Kim.
Hey. So, Danny invited me at the last minute, and when she told me that she knew him, I was like, bet, I'm down, let's go. And it was just such a great experience meeting him. He's a really engaging individual. So, and when Danny introduced me to him, he gave me a big hug. And ladies, let me tell you, that body is 1,000 out of a 10. I felt it. I'm gonna tell you. All right, the body is tea, honey. So, but it was really good.
Look, we said keep it real, right?
I'm keeping it real. The body is everything. He sculpted really nice, but he was so engaging, and he didn't hesitate to give me a hug, even though it was the first time meeting me. And he doesn't come off as being flamboyant, even though he has that celebrity status. So I don't know if you ever like met any other celebrities. They give that kind of flamboyant. What is the word I'm looking for? Help me out.
They come across really arrogant.
Yeah, really arrogant, and he did not
detached.
Yes, very detached or very offstandish. Am I making up words?
Standoffish.
Standoffish. Thank you. See, it's
we making up words today.
Yes.
It's the hug, got you, huh? Still talking about
the body got her all confused.
Yeah, the body got me confused. Listen, but he was not any of those things. Like, he was really sweet. He's very engaging. I love watching him with his fans, and how people got really emotional and meeting him. And for me, he gave me introvert vibes. Like, he has a very like quiet demeanor. I could pick that up, that he's just a quiet individual, because he wasn't out there. He was just like chill, and it was just, and you see the pictures, him hugging and talking and just being a very engaging individual. So that was a great experience. It was nice to meet a celebrity, someone who was down to earth. So I really enjoyed myself. And the event was, it was a big event, big enough, and it was just just great to see him. And I got another hug too.
Oh,
so let me put that out there. Well, when we were yes, when we came back the second day. So, like I said, the body is tea. So.
Oh yeah, when we left, when we were leaving.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So I'm just showing
cool
you some stuff from the Instagram page.
Yeah.
Guys, be sure you follow if you're not already following. This is the official fan page. I'll put the link in the chat. And there are others with hundreds of thousands of followers, but they have not been active in like 2 years.
Right. I also want to say that
I created this one for active, because obviously I can't control the other pages. They don't even answer because, like I said, they stopped really posting. I want to say in early 2023, maybe even 2022. So even though they have hundreds of thousands of followers, there's absolutely no activity on those pages. And I wish I could find out who's running them so we can funnel some of those followers to us. But
you're the only one indoors.
Page where up-to-date current stuff will be posted.
Yeah.
So follow, please, or share or whatever. Bougie on a budget. Thank you for the super chat. I'm sorry. I'm like I said, I'm not good at this at all, and I forgot you're supposed to. I don't have proper etiquette. Sorry. You're supposed to thank people for the super chat. But all right. So Harry, you could go ahead. Let me get this off.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of interesting because, like, for my wife and I, we decided to show up. We like the day before, probably like at 10 o'clock at night. Like, hey, this thing is going on, so let's go ahead and make a trip up from DC to PA or Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
So we got up, we got everything going. Made a journey up there, and then when we got there, it was just about just trying to get a feel for everything. So when he finally got in line, and we saw him, he was cool as I don't know what. I think the biggest thing for me is like when he's gone through a lot, and everybody kind of knows the whole story, so we don't really have to get into it. So I was more concerned about showing him love, giving him words of encouragement, saying, "Hey, look, I'm glad you're where you're at. You're trying to get some things going for yourself, and it's appreciated." So that way he can just keep moving forward with his own life, and that was good. He was very receptive to that, and that right there. And on top of that, how he was, interacting with my wife was actually pretty important for me. And so, all in all, great experience. And if he decides to do it more, I guarantee the turnout's going to be great for him because he got a lot of love. And it was showing when we was up there.
Oh, yeah. Right. And I was really surprised because, like I said, even though it's in the Philly metro, the town is about 45, 50 minutes outside of Philadelphia. So most local people that are from urban areas, like I'm from Harlem, New York, right? Most people in Harlem don't have cars. And if I still lived in Harlem, if I lived in New York, I would probably have to commute to something like that, right? I didn't grow up with a family car. We had buses and subways on every corner. So I got a car when I was 21. I didn't even get my license until I was 21. So something like that would have probably been far from me, And so if let's say they had it up in Middletown somewhere or Long Island or Staten Island, I probably wouldn't have gone, So I was really surprised to see so many people that made that journey out there to see him and show him so much love. And I mean, there were people that came, and we'll get to Courtney next. Courtney came from Atlanta.
Okay.
Wow.
And if I'm not mistaken, I was trying to ask you earlier, Brit, did you guys come from New York?
Yeah, we came from
New York. You drove about 3 hours, right?
It was like 5 the night before in traffic.
Wow. Oh, because you're upstate, right? You're not in the city anymore.
We're Long Island, so you have to go through the city.
Right. You got to go. Right. So like I said, if you don't live right, the odds of you going slim to none. And these people travel 5 hours by car, 3 hours by car, 2.5 hours by plane. I came from Florida, but I have a different, reason for coming. But these are actual fans that wanted to meet him, wanted the photo op, wanted the autograph, that traveled far and wide to come see him, and I mean, that was just so awesome. That was so awesome. Actually, I'm going to do She next because Courtney's story is a little longer. So I'm going to save Courtney for last. I'm going to do She next. Let me try, before we get started, let me try to get your, I was about to do it earlier, but I didn't want to accidentally play it while Zach's video was playing. I told you, this is Jerry rigged, so you got to bear with me. But
it's all good. It's all good.
This was She's experience with John.
I'm gonna get you.
She's all smiles. All right, so that was Sheed and Jonathan before he got to talk to him and experience whatever he experienced. So go ahead, Sheed.
Oh, well, first of all, thank y'all for having me. I appreciate this group, man. I appreciate there's people out there that support a brother. And my experience was I actually met him the day before. It was my turn, which is what y'all saw in the video. Like you said, then he was there like after hours.
Because that must have been after I left, because I left around 2:30. So you came after that, or was it?
No. That was Sunday. I was right on time. That was the early part.
Sunday. Okay.
Yeah, that was the earlier part. I think it was Harry who recorded. I think.
Okay. Got you.
Yeah. That was my wife for actually recording that one.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, fella. Appreciate that. And I got you on the other one. I tagged you on X, whatever. But yeah, man, that was I had met him the Saturday because like many of us, we decided a couple of us has decided that we was gonna not go, and then I decided I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go support my guy. It's not that far, so I drove up from DC. Got there, had to buy the tickets in person, and because the time I got there, they was like, well, the lady hooked me up and said you can go on in and check it out. So I wasn't expecting to see Jonathan at that time. So I was just walking around the venue, which totally blew my mind. Didn't keep it real. Wasn't expect to see none of us out there, right? And so it was just like,
honestly, real talk, we probably were the most of us that were out there.
I was pretty shocked, but I mean, it was cool though. Don't get it twisted. It was cool. Like everybody was showing mad love and everything, but I wasn't. I was like, wow, okay, this is a different venue. And I've never done this before, so it was like, okay, cool. And then I was getting ready to leave, and then there was somebody made an announcement saying that at this table, and this is like 7 after 7 o'clock. So he was really after his time. And so I just happened to walk and see Megan Good, of course, who's beautiful as heck. And then I saw Jonathan, and just me standing there just watching him. I wasn't expecting to interact with him or anything like that. I was just, it wasn't my time to be there. So it was just like, okay, let me just fall back. And so after he finished doing autographs with the people that was there for that time slot, whatever, he saw me interact with Megan, and then he stepped back like a little bit. It was like, what's up? And I was like, what's up, my brother? And he like beeline right to me and was just like dap me up. And I was like, what's up, man? I just came out here to show the support, let you know we out here, we got your back or whatever. He was like, oh man, I appreciate that. And I just happened to mention Danny and Dre that, I follow, I'm part of that clique or whatever. He was like, what?
I didn't know we were a gang, but okay.
I said, he was like, what? And just gave me a beer hug. We was best friends, like from back in the day, and gave me a huge beer hug. And I was like, hey,
you know something that right now I'm on my own. So, it's just Danny right now, but,
right.
Because, anyway, it's just Danny, but I'm glad to know that you saying that was kind of like the seal of approval. Nothing about me at all, but I'm just glad that he trusts people that come from my word. Am I making sense?
Nah, you definitely making sense. Definitely making sense.
Yeah.
That he knows that if you say fan club or Danny, okay, good, they're safe. That's what I mean when I say the seal of approval.
Right.
Because he knows that my discernment is very, very strong. And I will not expose him to anyone or anything purposely that is not 100% for his best interest. So thank you. I'm glad that you said that, only because I'm like, I'm like, I'm
Nah, no
hoping
worries.
I'm doing things right and that he's not feeling like, oh, you know, here we go again. Here goes Danny. Look, but he knows that I got his back. He knows that I'm 10 toes down and I'm not perfect, you know. And I've told people that, oh, well, I didn't see any bougie on a bougie on a budget. I was like, hello. Like I think, like I said, the time that I was there, those of us in the fan club were probably the majority of brown folk. No offense, Brit. I don't want you to, but we're talking demographically in the town that he was in, and considering the political climate. You saw the big Trump thing in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about anything else.
Yeah.
But I don't get it right all the time. And I'm very deliberate. And, I always have feelings. I always get, but like I was telling Courtney and I was telling Debbie's not here, but Debbie's my right hand. And she's another person that has built a rapport with Jonathan. I purposely allow certain things to happen because I don't want to ever be the person that's blocking someone's blessing, if that's the way you want to put it. But I always have in the back of my head, something's off with this, but I'm going to let it, as long as nobody's in danger and as long as it's not going to cause, a blow up of some kind, I'm just going to let it, kind of like how Jesus let Judas do his thing. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But go ahead with the rest of your story.
Well, that was that. Once I I told him what I said, and he just bear hugged me, and like I said, I just felt like we was childhood friends, and we was kicking it a little bit. I swear I didn't get a chance to ask all the questions that I wanted to ask him, but I was just there, just let him know that I'm coming back tomorrow, and I just want to show you some love. I heard you were still out here, we got whatever, and he was appreciative of that. And so when I saw him the next day, when I actually showed up for my photo booth, my photo op, whatever, and he saw that I came back and I showed him the shirt and everything. He was really like, really happy about the situation. So I was just happy, man. The brother I got mad love for him, man. I want to root for him to this day forward. It was a great experience. I've never done anything like that, so this was an eye opener. And anything that he's going to be in, I'm going to support. I mean, that's pretty much my story for right now.
Okay, nice. So yeah, he's an awesome guy. Like I said, I don't have anything bad to say, and I will never have anything bad to say. They can never make me hate you, Jonathan. Like they say, what is that, the new social media trend? They can never make me hate you. But all right, so we're gonna save Courtney for last because she has a bit of a longer story.
Hey, real talk, Danny.
Huh?
That discernment that you're talking about, he recognizes that, and I'll leave it there because he mentioned something to me.
No, say it.
You're good. Trust me, you're definitely good because, like I said, I mentioned your name, and I'm not trying to, I'm just recalling some things that from my interaction. He definitely recognizes, and he has a lot of faith in your judgment, and I'll just leave it right there for right now.
Oh, thank you. Don't make me cry because I keep saying I'm not a crier, but it seems like ever since and I'm not normally, if somebody didn't die or I'm not angry, I'm not a crier. But like ever since from a spiritual realm, I've obeyed God. And I'm going to tell you now, if you're not a religious person, then get over it because Jonathan is and I am. And I'm very spiritual. And like I said, we come in different packaging. I'm the hood version because I minister to the hood people because those are the hood people listen to me. For the people that are like Mother Teresa, those people listen to them. I'm the person that'll minister to the people that nobody wants to minister to. So that's my packaging. So I might come real tough and hard, but I'm real serious about my faith and my spiritual gifts. And like I said, I'm not normally a crier, but ever since I was obedient to God and supporting Jonathan, I'm a big baby. Like I cry about everything now. every little thing. Like, and I guess that's God's way of breaking me because, like I said, you know, I didn't grow up in the easiest circumstances. You know, I grew up in Harlem during the crack epidemic. You know, several crackhead family members. You know, that whole thing. So, you know, you kind of build a wall, and you kind of become desensitized to certain things. So I think a lot of it is probably a trauma response. And those of you who have never watched my show, we do a little therapy session every show. So just in case. But, you know, I'm not typically that crier or that weepy type of person. But I have noticed, and I've told, if there's something that's going on in my professional life that I'm dealing with from a legal standpoint, that plus, you know, like I said, that obedience to supporting Jonathan has taught me a lot of restraint. And I think that's why I cry more now, because I didn't have to have restraint before. I could just fly off, say what I have to say, and move on. I can't do that anymore. So now in that obedience and that exercising that restraint, I'm more in tune with my emotions, and I'm more in tune with what God is telling me to do. You know, so that's where the tears come from, you know, because I can't just crash out anymore, because I have too much to lose if I crash out. I can't crash out about him because this is his reputation on the line. I can't crash out about this legal situation I'm dealing with because this is my livelihood and my license is on the line. You know what I mean? Even though I'm in the right and I got the Department of Justice on my side, I have to chill. You know what I mean? I can't say what I would normally say. I can't do what I would normally do. And so this has been, as much as it's been for him, a season of obedience. It's been a season of learning and learning myself more and growing as a person. You know what I mean? At this big age. Because like I said, I will fly off, pop off, and then done with it. And it's like nothing ever happened because I got it off my chest at that moment. We're done. So that's it. There's nothing else left to talk about. You know, we're either going to be friends again or you can ride off into the sunset, you know, but that's enough about me. Thank you, Harry. I didn't cry. I made it. I survived. All right, Britt, give me 1 second. Let me try. Okay, here it is. Okay, good. I like to try to do this interactively so that it looks more, you know, I told you I'm totally like, I'm freestyling this whole thing here. But this is Britt and her husband. This is their actual photo op. Excuse the resolution because for some reason everything on Instagram looks blurry when it's on the computer. But this is Britt and her husband. This is her testimony. So if you want to kind of skim read it, you can. But she's going to verbalize what it was that she experienced with Jonathan. She and her husband experienced with Jonathan.
So hi, everyone, and thank you for having me. It's definitely a pleasure and been a pleasure to get to know everyone in the last week. My husband is here also. He wanted to be here.
I don't know how loud to speak, but if
You're
you can't
good.
hear me,
You're good.
What's up? What's up?
They were all there. So basically, we drove the night before in. Took about like 5 hours. Maybe 2 weeks prior, we had learned he was going to be there through your fan group, one of your posts. And I remember my husband was asleep and I'm like, there's no way this is real. Like, we love him so much. So I'm like, how is it that I'm just seeing this? Is it spam? Whatever. And I tagged him. And then the next day he purchased the tickets, and the day comes that we meet him, and I'm already like getting emotional and fumbling, but
it's okay. You can cry. I held out.
Yeah, I know you held out for both of us at this point, but so I got to sit in a Q&A, which totally blown away because I have, as someone said, met a bunch of celebrities, stood online to meet people, but never have I met someone like Jonathan, where he definitely takes the time to get to know you, takes the time to, on an emotional level, get to know you, speak to you. It's not like, let me just sign and not know you. So during the Q&A, as he was speaking, my mouth, I couldn't keep it shut. He was going over the roles he had played, and I'm like, captive state. And I'm like, what did I just do?
I know, and I looked like, what did you just say? And like right away, he was like, oh, no, you didn't. And I was like, oh.
But just like that interaction alone, I remember just being like, oh my God, like, and then he's like, I love Rafe. And I'm like, you have no idea. I love you. And then I'm like, I don't know what I said after that. So fast forward to my husband and I go to stand to get his autograph. And I'm like, you don't understand. He's so cool. Da, 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 da. And then they take us up to meet him, and he's back in front of us. And like, I just start telling him, and my husband starts telling him what big fans we are because of the brilliance he brings to the screen. And it's truly unlike anyone else. And he really was listening and responding. And I remember just him getting teary-eyed, you getting teary-eyed, me getting teary-eyed, because it was just so emotional. Because I'm like, you're so amazing. You don't understand. Like, I know what it is to just be such an amazing person, and then meet them and then be even more amazing. And I'm going to have Kevin speak on this that he had given to us, because I truly will fumble over every word. Mm-hmm. So you want to?
Hello?
Here, make it. Let me see. Okay.
Hey, Kevin.
Hey, what's going on, guys? So yeah, shit, probably one of the best weekends I've had in years. Like I said, I was sleeping. She sent me the thing on Facebook, and like within 2 days, I had admission tickets, hotel paid for, 3 autograph sessions, 1 photo op. Even with all the Marvel fame, like we already knew this dude was destined to win an Oscar, even before all this stuff, because we were such huge fans of Captive State and Lovecraft and. Sorry about that. My dog sees the mailman.
He loves dogs. So.
So I mean, I've been collecting Jonathan's autographs already, and I already have a Marvel Kang the Conqueror action figure signed before he even did the first Loki season, and he signed through a company called SWAU. And I wound up getting some 8x10 pictures of him as He Who Remains. And so once, I collect the Funko Pops also. Once she said he was there, I was like, I got every variant of each one. I had him sign each one. And he was so like, he didn't care about the money. He didn't care about, some of the personnel that worked for Famous Monster. Yeah, that's hard. We're like, oh, action figures are more money, this, and that. And he was like, I don't care about any of that. Whatever you want, I'm going to take care of. He was writing quotes, character names, autographing first and last name. He was so amazing. But I'll fast forward after speaking to him. So we went to the photo op later in the afternoon. After the autographing, he told me, he was like, hey, man, because he signed a Victor Timely Funko Pop for me. Who's, if you guys aren't familiar, he's like the genius version. And, the quote he wrote on my action figure is, it's a prototype, which is a line he says multiple times throughout. Let me get it real quick.
I'm so jealous.
Right.
Yeah, I saw that. I was jealous of that one too. I ain't gonna lie.
I was so jealous.
He would literally show you every autograph he has of Jonathan's right now. So I'm like, just bring out the one. But truthfully, I've never seen like me. I'm spiritual, emotional, and I'm. Oh my goodness, Kevin. Like,
oh wow,
Yeah. They have a gang of stuff.
I was quick though, right?
You.
So this I had signed first. Let me take it out of the package, so it's not like
but meeting
not out
him,
of the package, the case.
Meeting him,
protective case.
Anyways, meeting him, I think this was like pre this, but meeting him.
So basically, I'm getting to the prop that he gave us. So he signed this. It's a prototype.
And he improvised he put the the stutter, he was like, let me just, you know what, I'm gonna put, and then he added the 2 P's to where he stutters, which I thought was so cool.
That was genius. That was genius.
I even asked him, I was like, does Megan get like jealous? You know, if I was Megan, I don't know how I'd feel about like Miss Minutes coming on to me like that. And he was like, you know, it was a little before her time, but it's cute. But
so basically when he said he had something to give me, I was thinking like you know, maybe some props for the pictures or something to pose with, or you know, something to something. But as you can see, there was multiple photos that they were waiting for. Some of the famous Monster crew were like, we knew what he was doing, but we didn't know who he was waiting for. So he wound up giving us the prototype for Loki season 2.
But
it's pretty heavy too.
How he did it was, I was already like emotional and not speaking English, but like he moved us so much that when he brought it out, he was like, okay, so we're gonna look at the camera and then we're gonna look down and you're gonna look back up. And so on the second picture where we look down, I'm like, wait, what is happening? And he has this and he whispers, I want you to know this isn't like a prop. This was actually used on the set, and it's the prototype of Victor Timely. So like,
we bought a case for it already and everything.
Yes, it was just in the case. But who else have we met ever that?
No, I was so surprised. I didn't even know what to say. And he told me, he said, you know, our conversation at the autograph table really touched me. What you said, I'm sure everybody was going gaga over him for sure. You know, we're all diehard fans, but he was like, you know, this is for you. You know, I want you to have this. And I was like, fuck, man, like, what can I offer you? You know, like, it was just like probably one of the best experiences of my life, man. And me and my wife were both like, yo, this is better than our wedding day, straight up.
No,
And he was laughing, you know, we were laughing. It was such a good time. And they wound up interviewing us too afterwards, multiple people. But I mean, who knows whenever those will get tagged in and stuff. But I mean, if he does another meet and greet like that,
and no matter where,
it's doable for sure. I'm 100% in. He's awesome. I got plenty of more stuff for him to sign, and you know, I love it, man. The guys are
now listen, I'm the unofficial accountant, so y'all better bring your ones this time.
Because
I'm gonna be like, that's per item. Per item.
But just like the time he took, like even the people weren't pushing him along because he was just engaging in depth. Like, I don't know anyone else like my family doesn't even do that with me. And he like cared what we had to say so much. And like, I have so much respect for him as like a person in every aspect. So to see someone like that just being on the same page was the most amazing thing ever. Mm-hmm. Truly.
Oh, yeah. Aww.
Legend for sure, man.
Listen, I think he knows intellectually how much people love him, but I think he's still trying to grasp the emotional and spiritual connection and I like I said, I was like, God brought you these people to deliver these messages to you, you know, and you have to understand that this was divine. This was not just random people just happened to be walking by and saw your table and was like, oh well, he's here, let me just, you know, this was ordained that he was able to speak to, you know, Brit and speak to Kevin and speak to Courtney and speak to Harry and Sheed and people that almost didn't make it, you know, for all intents and purposes should not have been there because of the distance, because of the effort it took to go and the uncertainty of whether or not they would even see him, let alone have an actual conversation with him, you know, and it was God, as far as I'm concerned.
He was that spirit. I am like Kevin will be like, oh, go do your meditation. But I am so spiritually like aligned. So to see, and he's an empath, and just you speaking on that, like just makes me respect him that much more. Because you got a shield, but he's just like another step, like I said, toward a revolution that we need. Like truly. We need that uplift right now.
We need it, and we need to break all the stereotypes, all the, you know, I keep saying that too. I'm like, you're the next Denzel, and it's going to happen.
Yes,
it's going to happen. I already know it's going to happen. This is just a speed bump in the road of his ultimate, you know, super duper stardom, you know, and Denzel wasn't much older than him when he popped off. You know, so the timing is actually perfect, you know. So he's that next person that's going to break all those barriers and all those boxes that they tend to put, you know, black men in from a celebrity standpoint. And I think that this time that he's having to rest is preparing him for that. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we can come up so fast that we don't have time to stop and smell the roses and stop and realize the impact that we're making on people. And this is his time to absorb that, understand that, appreciate that, so that when he does get to that Oscar, you know, where he's getting nominated for Oscars every year, he's going to know, you know, where he came from, not just from a childhood standpoint, but from a, you know, celebrity standpoint. You know, sometimes you got to take those steps back. Like I said, I'm taking a lot of steps back, a lot at my big age. That to kind of, you know, rewind and get your perspective back. You know, get your perspective back, get your priorities back in check, you know, get your humility back in check, you know, because sometimes we forget. You know, we forget. We say it, but we're not really living it. You know, and this is that time. And like I said for his birthday, I said, this is your day one. This is your new year. You know, your year starts today. You know, so you got from today until December 31st to experience the rest of 2023. And this is it. This is where it starts. You know, this is your quarter, if you will. And I think that was that. I think that last weekend was the starting point for that. And I'm just so glad, and I appreciate you guys for, you know, joining and sharing your experience, because I want whoever sees this at whatever point, whether it's now or on the replay, I want you guys, if he does another event like this, whatever he does from here on out, I want you guys to, the same way you share viral videos, share this, share, you know, what a great person he is. If you see the events pop up, share them so more people can come out, because you know now what you're going to experience. So you don't have to hesitate on buying those tickets or making that trip, because you know that this guy is he's real deal, you know, and I only mess with real people. I don't mess with fake people. I instantly detect it and I run, you know, so I don't, you know, I put you in the file, the category, and then that's where you stay. You know, we can be cool, we can be cordial, but I'm not going much further than that, because I already sensed that there was no real, you know, connection, you know, and that's it. And I just disengage. All right. So before we get to Courtney, I just want you guys to see a little bit of the turnout. There were more people than this, but this is all I captured because it was right before I was about to leave. But I did want you guys to see. It's here twice. I think it's here twice.
Talking bags. Stop it, ain't an option. No, I
the first day of it. I don't know what.
Taking photo ops and signing autographs. My work do the talking. I ain't gotta brag. Really, what we talking? We ain't talking bags.
That was the first.
Stop it, ain't an option. No, I
that was just a small segment of the people that actually showed up, because like I started recording like as soon as they opened it up, and then I stopped. I didn't keep, you know, documenting it, but I wanted you guys to see that there was a nice turnout despite, you know, the negative non-reputable social media reports that were trying to, you know, make it as if he was, you know, what's the word, strapped for cash. Just to educate some of the ignorant people out here that like to see a sensational headline and like to, clown people. For those who have never gone anywhere or done anything or left their tri-state area, when celebrities do events like this, they get an honorarium. They're not just showing up for the photo ops and the autographs. The photo ops and the autographs, the charging of them in part, not in full, but in part, is crowd control. If he sat there offering free photo ops and free autographs, do you know he would have never left that building? That's one. So in a way, it's a deterrent to keep people from swarming. You understand what I'm saying? So if you and it also helps to determine who's truly a fan, because if you're willing to pay for the autograph, then you're truly a fan. So it worked perfectly in that way, because the people that were willing to pay were the ones that experienced him the way that they were meant to experience him. You understand what I'm saying? So he did not come all the way to King of Prussia, Pennsylvania for a few dozen $140 photo ops and autographs. He got a nice check in addition to that. I guarantee you that. So that's how that works.
Say it again, Danny.
If anybody wants to run tell that. Educate yourself on how celebrities pick and choose their events. Same thing if he went to a commencement for a university and gave a commencement speech. They make $20, $30, $40, $50,000 a pop for those. Anything, let's say if he showed up to do some type of charitable event, he gave a speech or a motivational speech, 20, 30, 40 grand a pop for that. So it's not that he was desperate for money and he's over here, selling autographs for crackhead prices. That's actually pretty low, because they go for way more than that. I'm talking, you got Chris Brown over here charging a G.
I'm actually like a hardcore autograph collector. I have about 4 binders full of anyone. Those prices were so good. The fact that people were talking shit is that you wouldn't believe some of these prices other people pay. But we dropped over $1,000 without even thinking about it, because it was, he should be charging more.
Right. Exactly. So he did a lot of people a favor by being relatable and being what's the word? Considerate of the economy, because he literally could have been getting $500, $600, $700 for those autographs.
Yeah.
Hey, Danny. Hey, Danny. Yo, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say because like for me, I'm same thing with you. I'm really big into autograph signings. I have some things that I take care of as well. But if you go to certain ones, because they have shows in Virginia all the time or in the DMV area all the time, and they have giant panels of like athletes that come through charging $200, $300, $400, $500 for an autograph. And if you even want to talk about something like Tom Brady, you're talking about $2,000 for an autograph. So people need to understand that they don't know. That's how you get the interaction, one, and you get the best quality signature versus being out in the public and him like maybe not having enough time to do like a full-fledged autograph. He may squiggle a line, but if you pay for the autograph, you're gonna get the best quality from that one session that you had that you paid for, and that's the importance of doing that kind of stuff.
And just like Pam said, it filters out the busters and the wannabes, because I don't know too many people that's going to spend a few $100s just to be a jerk.
Exactly.
And if you are, you can hand it to me. I'd gladly spend it for you.
Right.
Give me 1 second. My baby girl's going to her homecoming, so I got to see her pretty dress. Let me see, Alex. Oh, you look so pretty. You want to let the people see your dress? You sure? Come let them see your pretty dress. She's going to homecoming tonight.
Come on, Cocoa Puff. Oh, you look so pretty. You go, girl.
Love your hair. So beautiful.
She does her own hair, but yeah. All right, have fun, Mama. I'll see you. What time do I gotta come get you?
She looks so beautiful.
Check the drawer across from the coffee machine. All right. I'm sorry, but yeah, mom still on mom duty. But
no doubt.
yeah. But like Pam said, it filters out the busters and the wannabes because, you know, a lot of people, if he didn't charge at all, oh, it would have been craziness. I probably would have caught a record in Pennsylvania because, yeah. Like I said, wow, we would have been WWE in there.
Well, Danny, tell him for the recent unemployed like myself, because that was a decision that I had to make. That I appreciate him keeping it
Unemployed.
recently unemployed. So I was really, that's why I was kind of debating if I wanted to make the trip or not. But I was like, you know what, it's my guy. I support him. You know, it's for the culture. You know, so I want to be there for him. And I just, that's why I dove into it. I was like, you know what, the hell with it. You know what I'm saying? It's all right. It's just money. I get it back. But I mean, it wasn't like it was breaking my pockets or anything like that. But still, I'm money conscious right now.
No, but
So
that's dedication because $140, if you're not working, that's a lot when you realize
actually,
you need it for that Wi-Fi or that internet, and you're like, damn, I should have saved that 140. You know what I mean?
actually, it was more than that. But yeah.
Well, yeah, whatever you spent, yeah, because you did the
Yeah.
picture and the audit, right? So we're talking
Yeah.
$400 that
And
6
then,
months
so
from
yeah.
now, if you're still not working, you're gonna be jonesing for that 400.
Oh,
right?
nah, I ain't gonna be
No,
unemployed
we're
like
not
that. But
claiming that, but I'm just saying how the economy is, depending on what you do for a career. You know, it could. We don't know how long it might take. You know, so that's dedication. You know, that's a true fan.
That's what I was saying. Like, I appreciate it, keeping it like that. So for people like myself who, who may not be having the best of, best of financial right now, yeah, I appreciate him keeping that a buck, whatever it was. But it's still, I was still there regardless. So it's all good.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Like I said, thank you so much because, I like to. I was in corporate America for about 20 years before I started teaching, and now I don't teach anymore. I actually own and run group homes for most of my clientele are autistic. So I like to organize. I like to plan things and organize and bring people together, And so when it works out, I'm always happy, and I'm always, happy to know that people had, a good experience. And I also like to, meet new people that can, spread the word and be, mouthpieces for Jonathan because he needs this, I said this before, and I don't even remember how long ago, but I want to say culturally, he's probably one of the only celebrities that has brought people together on a common positive front. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of it, like I said, is ordained. And I think a lot of it too is people like us that have that discernment and that spiritual connection that recognize in him something beyond his celebrity. You know what I mean? Something that's not of this world, and that's important to note because, like I said, when he's back up again, his impact is going to be undeniable. It's going to be untouchable. And this is why he needs this quiet time so that he can mentally, spiritually, emotionally prepare for the kind of influence he's going to have, not only on the culture, but on society as a whole. And this is that calm before the storm, but the storm is a good storm. You know what I mean?
Yes,
a good storm. So we're going to get to, let me try to figure this out. What was I doing again? Okay, hold on.
Oh, Danny, I wanted to say something real quick. When I uploaded that picture of myself and Jonathan, I had a friend of mine in the comments was like, "Oh, I know him personally. He's a good dude." So that just really speaks to who his
Everybody
character,
feels the same way,
right?
right?
That really speaks to his character and who he
Mhm.
really is as an individual. And I just also want to say Lovecraft and The Harder They Fall, those are my show and my movie. I
Those
can't
are in
wait
my
to
top 3. Lovecraft
and
is number 1 because I'm a history nerd.
yes, and I'm rewatching it again currently, and I can't wait to see him in his new film. I'm so excited.
Merciless. Yeah. So that's
Yes.
another thing we got to band together to make sure that
Of
everybody goes and
course.
sees,
Of
and
course.
in our respective markets, we got to, get out there and make sure, whatever we can do, we going to do. We going to get it. We going to get it together.
Yeah,
All
got
right.
it.
So now we go to Courtney.
I love this picture, Courtney.
Yeah, it's a
Like,
nice
I'm
picture.
so happy you're here. But like, I saw this picture the day after, and I was like, oh, my heart. Like, thank you, thank you.
Now, Courtney, do you want me to play the video he made for your son now, or do you want to do it after you say your piece?
You know what? Yeah, let's play it after. Let's play it after.
Okay.
Okay, so now that we're going to be playing this video, I didn't realize I was going to be sharing this much, but it's okay. I feel led to do so, so I'm going to do that. But so I was in an abusive marriage for almost a decade, and God put Jonathan on my heart about 2021, and God said to me, you need to meet this man. And it was crazy. It's like this burning in my heart every single day, and I was like, okay, God. So I was like, well, we'll see what happens. And just to make the story shorter, in almost a year later, 2022, I got the opportunity to interview Jonathan at the SCAD Savannah Film Festival, and then randomly another opportunity came up to interview him again. This time was at the Texas Film Awards, and the Texas Film Awards was March 2023, beginning of March, so right before everything kind of popped off. And that literally reminds you now, so this has been almost a year and a half, almost 2 years that God had spoken to me about this, and I've been praying for Jonathan, during that time. And the day I came home from the Texas Film Awards after interviewing Jonathan, is when God rescued me from the situation that I was in. And so God really showed me how monumental and the impact that Jonathan had in the process of him getting me out of that situation, getting me and my son out of that situation. So I am forever grateful. God uses things in ways that we wouldn't expect. His ways are higher than our ways. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. And so that's what he chose to do. So everything, of course, after I came home, maybe about a week and a half later, I can't remember exactly, is when everything kind of happened. And God was just in my ear all the time, like, pray, pray, pray. So I was going in heavy intercession for Jonathan. And I've done that, up until this point. But with just settling back in with life, moving back to Georgia, because I was living in, as Danny said, the SF Bay Area, just settling back in life, I was just focused on getting certain things done for me and my son. And randomly, not randomly, it was divine, but randomly last Thursday, I was on a prayer call, and I was telling Danny, it was so crazy because I'm praying and God is like, I need you to look up Jonathan's name on Google. And I'm like, no, I'm praying right now. And God's like, look up Jonathan's name. And I look up his name, and of course I see the crazy things that they're talking about him, which is absurd and a lie. And then I see that he's going to be at this event. I knew nothing about the event at all. And God was like, I want you at that event. And I was like, this is so last minute. I've actually, that weekend I was supposed to be in Tampa, supporting some family members who were dealing with a family member that passed away, and they were preparing for the funeral. And so I was like, that looks like it's one of the days that I'm supposed to be in Tampa. And God was like, I don't care. I need you to get a flight, and I need you to go. And so I was like, okay, God. So I was very obedient and doing that. And I had so much peace, but I was also kind of like, what do you want me to say? And he told me, I want you to tell Jonathan your testimony and what I used him. I orchestrated with him in that, not even knowing that. But then I'll tell you the next part when you get there. And so I got to Philly, and I was like, all right, God, I'm gonna need you to say something because I came all this way. I'm supposed to be with my family. I need you to say something. And sure enough, God ended up giving that to me kind of at the last moment. And like Danny said, he wasn't even supposed to be there at that time. And of course, I didn't know that. I didn't know really what to expect. I was afraid. I was like, oh my gosh, am I going to get here and the tickets are going to be sold out? Because at that point you have to buy the tickets in person. So I'm like,
right.
Thing could happen. But I'm like, no, God not going to send me all this way and for that to happen. So sure enough, I got there and I was able to, first of all, as soon as I walked up, remember now, previously I've already met Jonathan twice and have been able to interview and have conversations with him, short conversations, but conversations. I walked up and he just kind of looked at me like, and I said, no, he said, how have you been doing? And I said, so you remember me? And he said, sure I do, and smiled so hard. And basically from there, I told him my testimony, and then God just began.
You crying again?
I know. I was like trying, and the funny thing was he was so locked in on what I was saying because, like Danny said, he is a man of God. He is a Christian, and so he knows when it is God that is speaking to him, and that's exactly what occurred. And I'm going to keep those things personal because that's something that's sacred. But just the fact that, of course, like he remembered me. He meets so many people. You know what I mean? He meets so many people. He talks to so many people. And we know how it goes with publicists and things like that. Normally they rush you off. Mm-hmm. So for him to have remembered me, after a couple times of me interviewing him and asking me how have I been, first of all, who would, even if you did know somebody, they would have been like, yeah, I remember you. No, yeah. He immediately said, how have you been? Like that, like so genuine, so intentional to ask me, how have I been? And that is amazing and a blessing in itself. But then the fact that he was receptive to be able to hear what God needed to say to him. And that's God on its own. That's that Jonathan nor I or nobody can take credit for that. That's all God. God orchestrated this. But after that, one of the other fans that were there gifted me a giant special poster with King the Conqueror and some of the other characters from Ant-Man on it. And so I ended up getting him to sign that. And he signed it for my son, which was so, so cool. I kind of told him, just sign it, whatever you want. I don't collect autographs or anything like that. So I was just like, do whatever you want. My son will be happy. And afterwards, he recorded a video for my son, which we'll show in a moment. But even just what he spoke to my son, again, he doesn't know my son, never met my son, but cared to speak words of encouragement and life into him, especially as a young Black boy. And knowing that it's a young Black boy without a father present in his life, he knew how important it was to pour out wisdom and love and encouragement and life over him. And so that is a blessing in itself. And afterwards, of course, you guys saw that amazing hug happened. He literally walked around the table and hugged me. And then I wasn't expecting it because I was so, anytime God is speaking through you, you're it's such an overwhelming feeling. So I wasn't even expecting that, but he did the same thing before at our last time meeting each other. So it's not unusual of him. And that's just to show you who he is. He really, he sees genuine people. He sees genuine love. And when he sees that, he hangs on to that. He holds on to that. It stays with him. It's not something that is just surface level to him, or that, it's here today in his spirit and gone tomorrow. No, he truly, truly, truly cares He truly cares, and he carries that with him. So I thank you guys for being there. Continue to speak life into him. Continue to pray for him. And yeah, but I think that's everything. But yeah, go ahead and show that video.
All right.
You have a wonderful mother. You are, I can already tell, an anointed young king, young lion. Keep the faith. Love your mother. Keep God first. Don't be afraid. And when you are afraid, be brave. All right. God bless you, boy.
Yes. He's a beautiful human. Beautiful.
That's so sweet.
Beautiful human. And you know, the thing, here I go on my soapbox again, but the thing about people that are, I guess, empaths or spiritually in tune, and I'm sure you guys see this a lot. They call it pop psychology, but a lot of it is spiritually based. You know, like you might see memes or jokes where people might say, why do I always attract the crazy people? Or because they'll say, because you have a healing spirit. And so I think that, and I'm also learning that too in this time of restraint that God has me in. I'm literally like in a seatbelt 24/7 when it comes to my my usual way of behaving in certain situations. I'm learning, and I've learned this years ago, but I'm learning even more how to discern those spirits, because those spirits will attach on people like us, like a fly to fly tape. And you have to be careful because they come in familiar packages. Things that you think are what you like or what you want, and they're just attaching to your healing energy. And that can be a huge distraction from what God is trying to do in your life as well. You know, and so any of us, I don't know what any of you guys' religion is, because I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, there's one God. You know what I mean? There's one God, and I'm not here to judge anybody's specific walk. But what I will say is the overarching theme in any and all religions is that ability for demonic energy to try to attach itself to those of us who have that healing spirit, or that ability to heal others through whatever it is that God has called us to do. And so you have to be very careful, very, very careful about that, and about who you allow in your space or allow to stay in your space. Once you kind of get an inkling that, ooh, something's not right here, because every time I do this, they do that. Every time, you know, this happens to me in a good way, something bad has to happen. You understand what I'm saying? Every time I'm being fed, I get interrupted, or there's some kind of disruption that takes place while God is trying to talk to me or feed me. That's usually your first sign that wherever that spirit is that's hanging on you, you probably need to start trying to, you know, get it off of you. Has anybody, I'm a horror buff. I know that's kind of incompatible with Christianity, but I do like, I mean, I don't watch them as much anymore. I'm more into the ones that have a message. When I was younger, I would watch all that gruesome, crazy stuff. I can't even stomach it anymore. But like the ones that I tend to watch are the ones that have more of a spiritual message to them than the gruesome, like crazy, you know, Jason type stuff. So there's a movie called, I think it's called Shudder. Has anybody seen the movie Shudder?
Yeah, I've seen that before.
I think I've seen it. It sounds familiar.
I can't remember if I'm calling it the right name, but it's the one with the guy, the guy that started it is the one that was married to the Queen and Slim girl. He did something to a girl back in the day. I think they were in Asia somewhere, and she ended up haunting him throughout the whole movie. So as the movie progressed, he keeps having his back pain. Back pain. And as the movie progresses, his back keeps getting more and more hunched over, more and more hunched over. Throughout the movie, you see the, different flashbacks of what him and his friends did to this girl. And she's haunting him, basically. So at the end of the movie, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it already, but at the end of the movie, everything transpires. His girlfriend leaves him. It's a whole thing. When she finds out what he did, she leaves him. Because I think he confesses, or she finds out some way that they actually assaulted this girl in Asia, him and his friends. But by the end of the movie, he's in an insane asylum, and you see him hunched over really bad. Like he can't even sit up straight. He's hunched all the way almost down to his knees. But then the camera pans to the mirror, and you actually see the girl on his back.
Yeah. Attached to him.
Attached to him.
Yeah.
So that was his basically, to me, that was symbolic of how those demonic spirits attach to you. When, in his case, he was wrong. So she attached to him because he wronged her, right? But I was using that as a visual for how they attach to you when you have that healing energy. That they'll literally be on your back, riding your back. That every time you take 2 steps forward, now you got to take 3 back. And you don't realize that it's that person. It's not necessarily what's going on around you. It's that person that's harboring that negative energy. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm articulating correctly, but those of you who, know.
Oh, no,
right?
we got it. I got it. I got it.
You know what I mean? So, let me see somebody.
And I do want to say this too. Like I know the video to your son was I guess personable and it's out in the internet spaces now, but you don't see that too often from celebrities.
No.
And I honestly hope that you share that more, or allow people to share that message, because it's a great thing to say, especially coming from an older Black male to a younger Black male, and trying to give him encouraging words to be better as he gets older, and be more respectable as a person, because that's not something that you see. You really don't. And I hope you share that. I really hope you share that.
Yeah, please do, because I'm not a huge Usher fan, but I went to the BET Awards back when they had him, and he did that whole long speech where they cut most of it out because he started cursing. But he said something that really resonated with me, and he just kept saying it. He was like, "This is the year of the father." And this is the year of the father. It's time to step up and, whether you're in the house with your children or not, step up and be that, that person that they need, because moms can only do but so much, even if it's an intact home. A lot of times dads are so busy out working and, doing yard work, doing this, doing that, to make sure the house is, running, that they don't have the time to, they might go to a game here and there, but they don't have the time to actually sit down and talk to their daughters, talk to their sons, and, pick their brains about what's going on inside of them, So this is that time to be intentional, with whatever you do with your children, regardless of what your family unit consists of. This is the year of the dad. This is the year to respect the position that dads have in their children's lives, regardless of gender. I had said before that I don't celebrate most of the holidays because it's just too much. Every month is something. So my main holidays are birthdays and Christmas. Those are the 2 holidays I go all out for. And so Valentine's Day, I let my husband take my daughters out. My oldest is away in college now, but when they were here, now he takes the youngest out and her best friend and with her dad. So this is their time, to talk about things that they might not have had time to talk about, or things that they don't want to talk about with me. And that's fine. There's things that I don't know, that only a man, I might know intellectually, but it's better received from a man than it would be from me. Right. So yeah, dads, this is your time. This is your time to shine. So let's do it.
Danny, you just made me think of something that I think is important to share. We also have to remember, and we on this call know this, but speaking this hopefully so the masses can hear it, that Jonathan is a father. So you have to be very careful about what you say, because you know that can affect, you know, him being able to be in his child's life, his daughter's life. So really think about what you say before you say it. And is it worth completely risking and ruining somebody's reputation in their life? Really think about that. So I just wanted to say that, because
think about how you would feel if your child read that. You know, that's why when I read what I read last week, I was like, you have to be like the lowest of the low human being to even bring a child into whatever you're snitching about, and then not understand that she can possibly see that and bear the burden of feeling the guilt behind what it is that you're discussing. You know what I mean? Because kids internalize that stuff. You know, they're like, oh man, I'm causing daddy this kind of problem, or, you know, daddy's got to deal with this because of me. You know what I mean? And just the idea that somebody would bring his child into it, you have to be really sick. And you know, God deal with them. God's already dealing with them, because you have to be a miserable human being to do that to begin with. And then to pick that, you could have said dozens of other things, but you're going to pick that particular thing, knowing that this child is almost 12 years old, and I'm positive can see that regardless of what her mom doesn't allow her to see. Kids are going to be kids. They're going to access things when they want to and how they want to, when they're not under the direct supervision of their parent. You know what I mean?
Kids at school are atrocious. So
they're terrible.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was a teacher. I taught high school, and then my last 3 years I taught middle school, and they're horrible. They're absolutely horrible. So, you know, it's terrible. And I mean, I'm just hoping that, you know, we can get, you know, more of us together. And I'm just praying that eventually we come across someone that has, you know, legitimate I mean, I know people that do, but, you know, everybody's worrying about their jobs or their, you know, whatever. But that's somebody that's fearless enough to be willing to push positive stuff out there about him, you know, without fear of, you know, backlash. Basically, someone in media that can operate independently, that's not worried about, you know, oh, if my employer finds out about this or whatever. And I can respect that. But of course, everybody I know is employed by a corporation. So, you know, they can only do but so much. But, you know, eventually God is going to bring somebody across our path, and all this stuff is going to be put in place of all the negative stuff that people are just deliberately petitioning now to pump out. And it's sick. And it just goes to show you how powerful he is, that, you know, there's really no reason to be talking about him at all at this point. But you're literally finding things to just keep his name in a negative news cycle. That just goes to show how powerful he is. Because the enemy is using people to just they're just literally pulling stuff out of the air now, just to complain about. We knew about this event for weeks. Why would you wait till 2 days before the event to start clowning about the autographs? And then don't even give the correct context. You're lying, because that's not all he was there for. And he actually gave you guys a deal. You know what I mean?
Oh, he did. He did.
Why wait until the day before his birthday to drop that other nonsense that they dropped? You know, so it's somebody that has an axe to grind, or that needs attention, that's dropping his stuff out there. And at the end of the day, vengeance is mine, you know, says the Lord. So there's nothing that we can do, because God is going to handle them, and he's already handling them, because you have to be already in the pits of despair and misery to just sit there and just do that. That's what you do. You know what I mean? That's what you're doing. And nobody's perfect. Everybody falls short. Everybody has a moment where they, you know, want to do something that's not so nice. But the difference between us and them is that we listen to God, and we listen to that small voice that says, now, you know, that's not right. You know, that's not right. And you know what's going to happen if you do that, right? You know? Right. And so, but that's the difference between us and them. You know, we know when to stop. but we know when to check ourselves and say, okay, you're out of pocket. Stuff yourself back in, calm down, because it's not that serious. You know? But, you know, it is what it is. Any last words, anything else you guys want to say or impart to the audience?
I do. I want to say that these same people, like these headlines that just like, you know, mask on each other, his Perseverance Award, like that is the headlines. That's the truth. Like, hello. And that's people that get that are still inspiring no matter what they go through, no matter like innocent. Like we know like everything with him, he's innocent and just going through everything and still having this positive attitude and being so professional, because let me tell you something, I would not be so professional. And I'm sure like he just handled it with grace. He didn't even speak in the courtroom, like letting his lawyers, it's going to be his time. The truth is going to unfold. And I really just, if that award doesn't speak for itself to say like, this is the changing of the tides and like the revolution, then I don't know what does, but these people, like it'll all come to surface. And
oh yeah, and it already is. It already is. And the crazy thing is, you mentioned the Perseverance Award, so you know that happened in early June.
Yes.
So this is another example of what I'm talking about. Everybody saw that video of his acceptance speech 2 months prior. It circulated within days. Not even, I want to say the next morning, I had a hold of the entire acceptance speech back in early June. So why, when they decide to actually air it on the actual streaming network that hosted it, they waited a full 2 months to decide to make it public? So now, instead of focusing on just watching the awards, now they're focusing on his speeches. So now everybody's picking it apart. So now you see negative headlines about him acting, him crying, him this, him that. When 2 months prior, everybody was giving him praise, talking about how Ayanla gave him a hug and how great Ayanla is, this, that, and the third. Fast forward 2 months later, everyone has selective memory. And so now it's about clowning about him crying, clowning about him being fake, clowning about, you know, so it's like, I think it started with that. And then from that point forward, it just was a succession of negative stuff. So whoever this person or persons are that are purposely just constantly trying to take jabs at him, that day is coming. I'm not even concerned anymore.
Well, it's coming.
I'm really annoyed and frustrated.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. I'm not even worried about it, because when you operate in that kind of energy, nothing good is coming to you at all. So it is what it is. Khalil, the only thing we all know of is the Merciless, which is, you know, he did specifically say that he's going to start filming next month, which is October. So we know that's the most current thing. He hinted around at something else. He did not get specific, but we hope that hint, I don't know, because like I said, he did not say it, but in my mind, I'm thinking that some of the rumblings of them saying that, was it Lionsgate or who was it that they said may have bought Magazine Dreams? Was it Lionsgate?
Yeah,
or was that the original
Lionsgate?
Say that again, Harry.
I said that's the rumor. It's supposed to be Lionsgate that bought the rights to the movie.
That's the rumor.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that that's what he meant when he said something else, but he did not specify. So don't quote me on it. I'm thinking and hoping that it's something to do with that rumor that has been going on for weeks, that Lionsgate possibly bought the rights to Magazine Dreams. I hope so, because if that's the case, I would think from a timeline standpoint, that would come out very soon, kind of to segue us into Merciless when that actually releases, right? So, you know, we got to do it big.
That would be great. That would be great.
That would be awesome. You know, we're going to do it big. We're going to have
that would be great.
Watch parties, localized, you know, things. If I got to fly out and help with some other things, we're going to do it big for sure. Because we got to support this guy. You know, he's a good guy. You guys have already said it. We're not going to keep beating a dead horse, but he's a good guy and he deserves everything, the best of everything. And he's going to get the best of everything. But again, this is his time to be rebuilt and, you know, rebirth like the tattoo on his neck says. So, you know, we reborn, you know, into what God is preparing him to be for this catapult into success, because I just know it. I'm speaking multiple Oscars into existence. I'm speaking, you know, huge box office success with not only movies he gets hired to do, but movies that he produces himself and directs and writes and whatever else himself. All of that is going to happen. And we just know it. We know it. And he, like I said, God is just preparing him for it. That's all. And building a team around him that's going to be able to keep him grounded and, you know, keep him remembering his why, you know, because it's so easy to forget all that and all that rush and all that come here, you know, and that's really what he was experiencing. He spent a full 3 months pushing Devotion, pushing Ant-Man, pushing Creed. He just did not have a break, you know, and I think that he needed that break. Unfortunately, it was the way it was, but you know, you know, he needed that break. We all need a break sometimes when we kind of lose sight of what it is that we were supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? And you know, he's passed now, and we still riding for him, you know, and then we're gonna keep riding for him till the wheels fall off. And even after the wheels fall off, we're gonna be riding on the rims. Everything, the wheel, everything. We're gonna ride it down till we like Flintstones with our feet. But yeah, so that's it. I mean, this was good. I always in my meeting, all my things with this was good.
Yeah.
And I thank you guys. Any more questions in the chat? Any more anything else you guys want to know? Thank you, Ghost, for clarifying, because I hadn't seen that movie in years, but it stuck with me. Because again, I like to look at the symbolism of things when I watch those types of movies, because I like to see, you know, the how it applies to real life, you know, in a spiritual realm. But thanks for clarifying exactly what Caliber. Oh yeah, he was just telling us that a different person charged $200 for a photo op. Right. So, you know, just to get it out there, he did not just come for photo ops. And again, in part, it's crowd control. And in part, it's filtering out the real fans from the hecklers. And then, like I said, they also get paid handsomely just for showing up. So I'm going to need that to get out there. And I'm going to need people to stop talking crazy and just wanting something to clown about. Because regardless, he made more in 3 hours than most of y'all make a year. So I need y'all to calm down regardless. So, like, anyway, but yeah. So,
no, my guy was out there. He was out there for a minute doing autographs and just talking to people. Like he was literally out there way past his time, just talking to people.
After,
so
right, before and after. He made the average person's probably annual salary in a matter of, let's say, 8 cumulative hours, and you guys are sitting here clowning. What do you got to do for that money? Sit in a corporate plantation, hating your life. So I need y'all to fall back off of Jay. That's all I gotta say. But thank you
way
guys.
Back.
Way back, right?
Hey, if y'all decide to do this Merciless premiere, let me know.
Let me tell you, we're gonna do it up. So Harry and she, I need y'all to gather up your DC collective. Courtney and I lived in Atlanta for 8 years, so me and Courtney will handle Atlanta. Kim, you got some people in Atlanta too, because she lived in Atlanta for 5 of the 8 years I was there. Keisha, you do your Philly collective. Brit, you still in Long Island, you said?
Yeah, Long Island, New York.
All right, so your Queens, Long Island people, get them people together.
And New York
your original
too.
Brooklyn people. We got to get them all. John J. Crew.
Yes.
Brit was John J. like me, but I was way before her. Way before her. But we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it regionally. I'm actually thanks for reminding me, because I need to start in the group. I'm going to try to create regional subgroups so that we can coordinate this type of stuff. There's a way in groups that you can create communities within the group. So then that way we can have like the DC people, the Atlanta people, the New York City Metro people, Jersey. Kim, you're in Jersey, so you can probably work with Brit, you know, so that you guys can coordinate in your little pod. And then, you know, I'll kind of like facilitate. But no, we got to get on it. This is serious business here. Okay? serious business.
Hey, Danny,
here.
whatever you need, mama.
Go ahead. Say that again.
Whatever you need, we here.
Oh,
Yeah.
no,
I said, whatever you need, yeah.
There's strength in numbers, and you know he appreciates it. And like I said, he just has to know that he has a solid, non-celebrity, everyday people that like him, love him for who he is. We don't want anything. We just want you to win. That's all we want. And if that's too much, then
Just win, baby.
Now, right? Yeah. So, I appreciate you guys, and you guys have a great weekend. Thank you for coming, and please share this for those who can't catch it. We have 42 in here, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And if you can share
That's what's up. That's what's
share this stream so that they can share this stream, I'd appreciate it. Oh, look who showed up. Love La Petite. Thank you for the super sticker. How have you been? Now, I haven't seen you in a while. She's usually on my legal streams. When I had to create a separate identity for stuff like this because I wanted this to be the fun stuff. And then the other channel is well, it's the same channel, but the other stream show is all the legal stuff. So hopefully we don't have to do too much on that stream in the near future, but in case, you know, it's there. But this is the fun stuff stream, the deep dive with Danny. But all right, thank you, love La Petite. And you guys have a great evening, great weekend. God bless you all. Thank you all, 42 of you that decided to come. And I hope to see you guys soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Let's go.
Yeah, take care.